Inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Oklahoma wearing the home white, and Georgia Tech wearing the road gray. Our officials tonight, we got a good crew. Don Daly, Orlandis Poole, and Jason Baker, our officials. Here we go, and Oklahoma has won the tip in their first ever SEC ACC Challenge game. Offensively, what are we going to see early on from the Sooners?
You're going to see a bunch of dribble handoff and ball screens like you see there. And this right here is where the game's going to be won. Who dominates the glass in rebounding? And this Oklahoma Sooners team is really small. Godwin in the middle, 6'8", 6'9", really plays with a high motor, but he's being guarded by a freshman. And Checkwu has to box him out and make sure he plays really solid ball screen defense and keep him off the offensive glass. Early
full court pressure for Oklahoma Sooners. As Georgia Tech breaks it, O'Brien gets all the way to the cup and the first basket of the game. Luke O'Brien, the transfer from Colorado. Fears will find Duke Miles, and he nails the three ball to get the Sooners on the board.
The high point transfer, you have to be there. Big time catch and shoot guys. Terry reminds everyone that that's what he does also.
He is who we focused on in the open. Lance Terry leads this team in score and gets the three to go. Here's Fears, the freshman. Jalen Moore with the penetration, finds Fears, hand in his face, and he misses his first jumper. And it is saved to Nathan George. George leads the ACC in 6 assists per game, and there's a dime inside to Dongo.
That's where Yellow Jackets can take advantage of Oklahoma. They switch a lot on perimeter. If Dongo gets a matchup inside like that, he's got a rim run and post up like he did. Look for the Yellow Jackets to try to exploit that as much as possible.
Georgia Tech with an early 7-3 lead. Opening minutes here in Norman, Oklahoma. Shot clock winding down. It's at 4. O'Brien. And that nice take by Jalen Moore. He is the Georgia Tech transfer.
You know he wants to have a big game. Spent his first 2 years at Georgia Tech before transferring here to Oklahoma. So you know he wants to come out really aggressive. It's a good sign for him to hit his first shot.
Terry will use the screen, picking up his dribble. Now they go inside to Dongo. Double teamed, and he gives it away. Fears in transition to Moore, and he couldn't get the bunny underneath.
Yellow Jackets lucky there. We saw them shoot around. We saw them working on the post trap. The double team's coming. They've got to handle that better. The first time the trap comes, Oklahoma forces a turnover.
Good perimeter passing. They find Terry, gets the three, plus the foul.
The freshman's got to learn, you don't foul three-point shooters. Terry's off to a hot start, knocking down his second three here. Great sign for the Yellow Jackets. They got to do a better job like this. This is how you want to attack the double team. But you know it's coming. You got to get it out quick, get it to the weak side. Terry and all the shooters need to be on the opposite side, ready to go and let it go. No hesitation at all.
Terry, an 81% free throw shooter, converts on the 4-point play. And Randolph, this is a Georgia Tech team who is doing this without 2 starters here. Javian McCullum is injured. He is missing his 3rd game with a concussion. And Kowacie Reeves missing his 2nd game with a right foot injury.
And they're going to compete. They've gotten off to a slow start. They had been battling injuries. They're missing 2 starters. And we talked about McCollum is the former Oklahoma Sooner. I know he dearly wanted to be here and be a part of this matchup.
George, with a little hesitation, gets into the paint. Nice pass. And a foul is committed by Duke Miles.
Yeah, no, McCollum's out with the concussion. It got nailed with a screen against Cincinnati, and he's been out. And talk about the injuries. And Jaden Mustaf has been out for 2 games. Sutton didn't make the trip, and it's hard to find your rotation this early in the year when you're missing starters. and your first guard off the bench are missing games. So Stoudemire still trying to figure his team out right now.
Coach Stoudemire did say he feels like this team is not that far off right now. He just said offensively he wants his guys to fight for position, get to your spots, because the defense is not going to allow you to get there.
Well, he needs his sophomore combination here by Dongo taking that shot and Nate George to take another step. You know, freshmen, sometimes that step comes a little late, delayed. You don't know when it's coming. He thinks before they hit ACC play in January that these guys will be in top form.
Here's Fears from the wing, and that one halfway down.
Fears is settled for 2 jump shots in a row. Let's see if the next time he gets an opportunity, he just uses that speed and gets downhill.
Screen and roll. Terry, his runner. That one rims out.
And right now with this lineup with Oklahoma, there's no shot blockers on the floor. So if I'm Tech, I'm attacking the rim, attacking the paint, and forcing rotation.
Or trying to penetrate. And a little too physical defensively on Duncan Powell. Called for the personal. A good start for Georgia Tech. An 11-5 lead here early on at Oklahoma.
Just 3 impressive games in 3 days. He was worried about tonight's game because it was such a quick turnaround in getting back and having an ACC SEC Challenge game fresh off the battle for Atlanta's champion.
This was a team that got back here to Norman late Saturday night.
Yes.
And now they got a game here on Tuesday night. And Porter Moser said, what I've impressed about my team so far earlier this season, just the fight.
Yes.
And all 3 of those games, they were up.
He loves the leadership he has with his veteran guys, too, with Moore and Godwin. And just feels like they've got the right DNA and makeup to help him deliver his message and keep these guys grounded.
Off the inbound, they go to Moore.
It's a great job. Baseline out of bounds defense there. Oklahoma is always looking to throw a lob to Moore.
Fears off the penetration. He misses another one. As Georgia Tech, a good rebounding team, keeping the Sooners to 1 and done.
They're a bigger, more physical team. They have to limit Oklahoma to 1 shot and try to get a couple of more extra possessions on the offensive end as well.
Hit Mustaf, the freshman, into the game for the first time with the ball in his hands now. Turnaround from the elbow. And Taylor off the bench from Las Vegas with the rebound.
Mustaf averaging over 18 points the last 2 games.
How about that steal? Powell just taking it away from Fears, as Fears will commit the foul.
Fears has got to know he's going to draw a crowd. If there's one knock on the freshman, that he is a freshman. At times a little careless with the basketball there. Coach wants to take him out, settle him down a little bit. Missed his first 3 shots. He'll send him back in. He won't sit there too long.
He did pick up his 2nd personal foul.
It's a bad foul for him. Be interested to see if he tries to keep him there for the rest of the half. I think you try to get him back in. Right now, you got enough time. It's only a 6-point game.
Onwuchekwa with the illegal screen called for the foul. As we take a look at Fears on the bench with 2 fouls. Oklahoma with an over 3-minute scoring drought offensively with Fears on the bench. Where do they turn to now?
Their guards are still going to have to carry the load. And it's not, if it's Miles, Elvis, one of these guys coming off, they're going to still continue to put in ball screens. And
driving baseline, that one swatted by Onwuchekwa. Oklahoma's missed their last 5 field goals. Inside, tough circus shot, but Jaden Mustaf gets it to go.
Big physical guard, backup point guard as well. He can put his head down, get to the basket. And again, there's no shot blockers for the Sooners.
This match is the largest deficit Oklahoma has faced all season. They're down by 8. Moore driving baseline. And he will draw the whistle.
We talked about Jaden Mustaf, just a big physical wing. Will play with the balls in his hands a lot. And Coach Stoudemire told us he was talking to the ref. They don't know how to officiate it. He gets called for fouls. And just there, he initiates so much contacts that he doesn't get the foul called a lot of times. And She Stoudemire over there now giving the officials the earful, letting them know, like, that should have been an and one, not just a bucket there.
So Jalen Moore makes the first at the free throw line, one of the best free throw shootings on this team for Oklahoma. He was the MVP for Battle for Atlantis. And he goes 1 of 2 from the line.
And usually Oklahoma makes teams adjust to their lineup. But right now, Georgia Tech has some bigger physical wings and some advantage in certain spots.
Terry with a little kiss off the window, and a timeout called by Porter Moser in Oklahoma. And this is the largest deficit of the season for the Sooners as we go to break and come back.
Happy holidays, Grandma. We got you something.
Ooh, I know this one. Fancy a game?
And the contest begins.
Georgia Tech with a 15-6 lead. Porter Moser calling the timeout. What is he telling his guys in the huddle right now?
I think sticking to their culture. He wants his group to be physical. And right now, they're not defending at the level that he wants them to defend. Offensively, he knows they'll get shots, they'll take care of the basketball and get the opportunity they're looking for. But defensively right now, it's just too easy. Georgia Tech is doing to them what they usually do to other teams. Breaking them down off the dribble, getting the shots, putting you in rotation. And right now, they're the team that's chasing. See Tech coming out. They're extending their pressure. They want to attack these guards and not be on the heels.
So Fears on the bench, the freshman with 2 fouls. And here's a full court press here out of the timeout by Georgia Tech as they back off. Kobe Elvis, the Dayton transfer.
Great job of weakening that ball screen, sending them to their offhand. They want to force all middle ball screens left.
A deep 3, too strong, and Powell again skying above everybody for the board.
Another good defensive possession for the Yellow Jackets. Just limiting the Sooners to 1 shot.
Georgia Tech on an 8-1 run right now, as Lance Terry will back it out and set up the offense. Dongo, skip pass. This is Powell.
They'll get that shot all night. They just want to get a shooter on that weak side. I thought Powell had a chance to make one more than Nate George.
Elvis will try again, left it short. And going up again is Duncan Powell. The second annual SEC ACC Challenge continues tomorrow night on ESPN with this must-see men's basketball doubleheader. Number 20, North Carolina hosts number 10, Alabama. That goes down in Chapel Hill at 7:15 Eastern, followed by 9th-ranked Duke hosting 2nd-ranked Auburn. How good has Auburn been to start the season? A lot of people surprised they didn't shoot up to number 1 in the country.
I'm one of them. They look as good as any team in the country, and the balance, the depth, and wow. The start that they've had to the season has just been amazing. It's been fun to watch.
Auburn winning the Maui Invitational. Throwing it up. How about the throwdown by Dongo? He has got some hops.
We talked about it. Mustaf with point guard skills. I mean, he's more than capable of making that read. And again, there's just getting downhill, got his right hand there. And if you know anything about Georgia Tech, they love that middle ball screen where they can throw that lob.
Well, we know Georgia Tech is long and athletic, and they show it off here.
Freshman coming down here, throwing it up to the big sophomore. You don't want to get in the way of that. I mean, just turning the corner. Weak side is late. If you're not early when Dongo leaves his feet, you just get out of the way. You don't want to be on the front of that poster. And this is not the way the Sooners have been defending.
It has been 6 minutes since Oklahoma scored a field goal.
And credit to Georgia Tech's defense. They're really up on their shooters. They're taking away their dominant hands.
Shot clock's at 3. Elvis dancing with it, and he nails the 3.
Even that shot was contested. That was good defense, just a better shot. from a big-time shooter in Kobe Elvis.
The guards for Georgia Tech are getting penetration anytime they want. And inside, Dongo will be fouled. It's been all Yellow Jackets so far to start this one, up 17-9. Oklahoma, you're doing it without your freshman sensation, Jeremiah Fears, picking up 2 early fouls, and he has spent most of his first half on the bench.
He's drawing a crowd, and he's got to know that. And he committed a turnover and got frustrated and committed the foul right away. His second foul. And this is foreign territory for the Sooners team because he has been on the floor and been available to him so much in these moments. And right now, not having your freshman sensation is going to be an adjustment. We'll see which one of these veteran guys in the backcourt steps up for him.
Porter Moser knows this Oklahoma team has been so close to getting to the big dance the last few years. He feels like this could be that squad that gets them over the hump.
Just got to stay healthy, right?
Got a gauntlet.
Yes, he got a gauntlet of a schedule, but he was coming from the Big 12, and that was just, he told us, he shook his head. He said he felt like he was responsible for it. He's like, I lead the Big 12 when it's the best, and then I come to the SEC, and now it's rated the best. So he's like, we can't catch a break, but he's been right there the first 4 out. Last year was unfortunate. 5 teams stole a bid and just bumped them out of the tournament. I mean, their record over the last 3 years has been unbelievable, and that's why he was speaking about his group of just remaining humble. He didn't say he wanted to let a lot of air out of the balloon, but he wanted to deflate a little bit of it.
Tough pass. It was tipped by Luke O'Brien.
Georgia Tech has really dialed in on the defensive end of the floor.
Last 3 seasons, the strength of schedule for Oklahoma. And Porter Moser has not been afraid to play the best in the country. And look who is back on the floor. Jeremiah Fears with 2 fouls.
I think he's going to try to hide him as much as he can. He had a Stern talking to, but he knows. Got to have him on the floor.
9 with the 3. And Georgia Tech with a rebounding advantage.
A lot of times you talk about guarding these guys and their ball screen action. You worry about the Sooners, but they're having trouble guarding Georgia Tech's ball screen action. They don't want to switch because you don't want to put a guard on 11. You know, Dongo, you don't want to put a guard on him. He's punished you inside a couple of times. If you switch on him, he's going to throw it in. So right now, they got to tighten up their ball screen defense.
George to inbound for the Yellow Jackets. Chekwa, 6'11", the freshman out of Dallas. Tried to run the pick and roll with him. Now 5 seconds on the shot clock. Kick out on Chekwa. Tipped around and hit underneath the stanchion, so it'll be Sooners basketball.
Getting good looks, Georgia Tech. They're just getting in the paint. You got to watch that middle ball screen. They don't run it as much as they did a year ago. Last year, that was a big part of their offense. The most difficult thing to guard is a middle ball screen. You can't load up when you got shooters in the corners. And they like to throw that little pocket pass to the bigs and let them play downhill.
Miles with the clear out. Moore surrounded by gray jerseys. And a reach-in foul is called on George, and he can't believe it.
He had more solid defense, and veteran Moore just stepped through. And like George, I'm wondering where the contact was. And once they called it, they don't take it back.
Jalen Moore, who leads this team in scoring at over 18 points per game, knocks down the first free throw.
And checking back in for Oklahoma.
And Moore is the heartbeat of this team. So athletic. He's another guy that's getting a look at the next level with his size, athletic ability, starting to knock down the 3 on a consistent basis. Up to 42% so far this year. Doesn't shoot a ton, but he's lethal in transition. And when he faces up on a big, drives him a guard, he posts up. And
Lance Terry is back on the floor for Georgia Tech.
Sooners in a 1-3-1.
High screen, George, elbow jumper. And Georgia Tech is just getting any shot they want tonight.
Nate George has to take that shot. Teams are starting to play him. They're taking away his passes. They want to make him take shots. And I think he's doing his team a disservice when he doesn't take that pull-up or three or whatever they're giving him. He's got to be respected as a scorer. And it'll even more so open up the lane so he can create for others.
10 minutes to play here in this first half. Oklahoma 1 for their last 9 from the floor. Make that 1 for their last 10.
This is a great job. Great defense. The Yellow Jackets are physical. And they're limiting them to one shot, so they can't get into a rhythm. There's no extra possessions. You see the physical difference in these teams right now.
Ryan going baseline. Finds Ndongo. Streaking is Fears. And he will get a trip to the free throw line, looking for his first points of the night.
This is how the Sooners want to play, but they can't get stops. The ball is getting to the rim. Even that shot by Ndongo there was a 6-footer floater in the rim, and they rebounded it and pushed them. They need to get out, try to force the tempo a little bit here.
You know, we came on the air tonight talking about this SEC ACC challenge, what it means, the significance, and both coaches talked about how much this means, the pride it takes when you play in a game like this, representing your entire conference.
Well, you know what's at stake, and for the Sooners, again, you got to let everyone know this wasn't a fluke. Got hot in that stretch of the tournament. You're playing good basketball. You get a chance to come home and defend home court. And Coach Moser knows these things, these events matter. That Georgia Tech is going to come no matter who's in that jersey, who's missing out of the lineup. They're physical. They're going to bring their best, and there's that Georgia Tech roster.
Jeremiah Fears, who recently turned 18 years old, reclassified. He should be a senior in high school right now, but he's wearing a Sooners uniform.
He's learning to build trust there. As you can see, coach put him back in. Now he's taking him back out as they extend their pressure. That's how you build trust with your coach. You got 2 fouls as a freshman. He puts you back in. Here he wants to extend the pressure, maybe get a little aggressive on the defensive end. Take him out. Still a ton of time here so they can pick up that 3rd foul. But they're going back to the zone. They're trying to protect the paint. Keep some size near the rim.
George freed up. Too strong, and Mustaf with the rebound had his head almost at the rim.
I thought he was going to tear it off when he saw it there. It's a big physical wing, and he has point guard skills. You got to box him out. He just has a way of finding the basketball. He gives them defensive versatility because he can guard 1 through 4 as well.
Elvis gets the friendly roll. Excuse me, that's Duke Miles. And the lead cut down to 7. George finds Powell. 2 defenders on him. And a fight for the rebound. Jump ball, possession arrow goes to Oklahoma.
The zone is slowing Georgia Tech down a little bit. It's giving them a presence in the middle, keeping a body in between the ball and the rim, and been able to give Georgia Tech finally a little resistance.
Taylor gets by George. It's met by Mustaf. Miles, 3, too strong. And Moore had his foot out of bounds. It'll be Georgia Tech ball. Look at the athleticism from the freshman from Bowie, Maryland, Jaden Mustaf.
He is showing you he's coming along. Average 18 the last 2 games. He's starting to figure this thing out. The game is slowing down for the freshman from Bowie. In dominant ways, and right now we got a ball game here, and the Yellow Jackets trying to do their part.
Damon Stoudemire tried to get the ACC on the board as the Yellow Jackets have led this one the entire way.
St. George is just hard to speed up, the Yellow Jackets. He makes the right play. His court vision is just unreal. Rarely turns it over. As I say that, he'll turn it over. Jinx him. But that play right there is a staple, you know, what Damon's talking about. That middle ball screen where the big slips. They like to get the big, rolling with right around the free throw line. Got to get that weak side over to help. And if you do, you got to make sure you recover to that strong side three in the corner.
Last foul called on Duke Miles. That'll be his second. So he will have to take a seat on the bench for Oklahoma.
Spears is back in. He's trusting his freshman. Now they switch a ton. He's got to be careful because they switch. He's got a physical guard on him in Mustaf.
Georgia Tech spreading the floor. Mustaf going one-on-one, and you know he wanted to show what he could do against Fears.
He's tired of hearing all the hype like, hey, I'm really good myself. And with 2 fouls, he's going to drive every time.
And one, Glenn Taylor Jr. the other way.
Just a couple of possessions where Oklahoma's been able to play at their pace. Georgia Tech has just been dominating, controlling the pace of this game. And Mustaf just realizes Fears can't offer much resistance. You can see he initiates the contact, trying to draw the 3rd foul. Taylor comes right back, showing you the former St. Johnny.
This is a guy who had some big buckets in the Louisville game, and he makes the 3-point play.
Fears is coming out again. They're trying to trade offense and defense and trying to get more aggressive in this pressure. Let's see if they go back to the zone. The zone is giving Georgia Tech a little trouble. Yeah, they're going back to their zone. Try to keep, they're looking to get the ball right in the middle of the elbow. Free throw line and trying to flash, and they're going to set that middle ball screen.
Terry, catch and shoot. Tipped around. Terry trying to grab it, and he tracks it down. Mustaf inside and tipped out of bounds off Northweather.
Georgia Tech's getting their hand on a lot of balls. They're the more physical team right now. The guards rebound, and that's what Oklahoma looks like they're struggling with, is Terry's getting his hands on the ball. Mustaf's going in. And as a guard, you're used to just getting back in transition. But before they run back, they've got to box out because the Yellow Jackets are sending 4 guys.
Powell has provided some big minutes off the bench. He was one of those guys to get his first hand on that ball, keep it alive for Georgia Tech.
He does. And watch him here, that middle ball screen, that pocket pass there.
Ryan couldn't get the handle, so he threw it off of a Sooner. 4 seconds on the shot clock for the Yellow Jackets.
I saw Powell warming up early. I told him my next haircut, so I'm gonna get it. I want his barber. I want to look like him.
There's Powell, and he didn't get away with that one. A push in the back on the rebound.
He's going every time, and you've got to put a body on him.
So Oklahoma now in the bonus, as Luke Northweather will go to the line to shoot the front end of a 1-and-1.
Luke Northweather brings a different style of play, and he allows the Oklahoma Sooners to play a little inverted. You know, he's a big, so he doesn't roll. He picks and pops and shoots it from the 3-point line. 11 of his 13 field goals on the year are behind the 3-point line. So for him to see his first shot go in for the free throw line, let's see the adjustments that's made with him in the game.
It was interesting. Porter Moser told us when NBA scouts come and watch practice, they look around and they point to Northweather and they say, wait a minute, who is this guy at 6'11" with that touch?
Right, shooting 45% from 3. 6'11" guy, you know, at that level, that translates to a pick and pop 5. And he changes, like I said, he changes the way they play. So let's see if the Georgia Tech controlling the paint. Now with him in, he can stretch the defense a little.
Powell just too strong, puts his shoulder into the chest of Northweather.
But that's what you got to deal with on the other end. It's just the level of physicality now that the Yellow Jackets are playing with. And as soon as have yet to match.
Elvis with a step back. How about that 3?
He's just unconscious right now. He's just shooting at such a high level. Just confident. Doesn't care. Doesn't care if he missed the last one. He's going to shoot the next one.
They go back inside to Powell. Powell's calling for it. He's got the ISO in the corner. One-on-one, poked out of bounds.
Powell coming in. No dribble handoff, just overpowers Luke Northweather. Just a nasty step back to create space there by Kobe Elvis.
Powell off the penetration somehow gets that one to go. The lead back to 6 for Georgia Tech. There's Elvis again. Same spot, same result.
Nobody wanted to guard him that time. It was one-on-one. Stoudemire was a little upset with his defense on that one. Elvis is single-handedly bringing the Sooners back in this game.
This is the closest Oklahoma has been since the early moments. The 3 by Elvis gets them within 3.
You didn't want to guard him the first time. This time you tried not guarding him at all, hoping he missed. He's hit a couple contested ones. Now he knocks down one with no one guarding him at all. And shooting the Sooners back in this game. They've made a couple here, and the Sooners have made them pay for it.
Let's see what Coach Stoudemire drew up out of that last timeout. With Oklahoma all the momentum right now. Lance Terry to inbound, leading the way for Georgia Tech with 9 points in his first half. Look at them double team and blitzing the ball off that screen. George crossover. He'll find Mustaf. And how about that friendly roll? The 3 goes.
Mustaf is not consistent from behind the three-point line just yet. It's only his second 3 of the season. When you've got to the rim and you've got a rhythm, you've got to step in and take those kind of threes.
Northweather did not even look at the basket there.
But another mix-up with him setting the ball screen. He's got to take advantage of that.
Once again, Georgia Tech playing at the pace they want to this entire game. Now, as we approach 4 minutes to play in this first half, Luke O'Brien, he'll rattle in a 3.
Oklahoma is so concerned with that middle ball screen. They was thinking it was a middle ball screen. It wasn't. Moore was late to close out, and O'Brien buried the 3.
Godine will answer with a 3 of his own.
Bryson Godine is the best shooter for the Oklahoma Sooners, and you got to be there on the catch with him at his size. If you're late, he's going to get it off and elevate over you.
Hesitation, good D there by Northweather. 6-point game as Oklahoma trying to push the pace. Elvis uses the screen. Godine, he'll try again. And it's going to be Yellow Jackets ball. Well, it's been raining 3s here in Norman.
It has been. Both teams have been shooting it well, and O'Brien knocks down that 3. Just reminding you guys, you better get out here. We have more than one shooter here for the Yellow Jackets. As their head coach. Mighty Mouse, as they called him.
I saw him move on the floor, shoot around today. I'm like, man, he could still lace it up and get out there if he needed to. He's in really good shape right now.
Yeah, he's taking care of us. He gets out there from time to time. I tease him with those bad knees. We're retired to the old man's league now.
One-on-one, you take him?
Oh, that's an argument we would argue for the last. We've argued that since we came out in '95 together. We're in the same draft class, coming out together, and we've been arguing that since. And back then, it's not like now. He would tell you before we became friends, because he's from Portland, and I got drafted to Portland. And we just would always talk to each other back and forth about how we motivated each other throughout our careers.
I love it. Under 3 minutes to play in this first half. Offensive rebound, Georgia Tech. Left short on the 3 by George.
They're going to give that to George. He's got to be ready to knock that down.
Powell, just a brick wall inside.
Physical Powell is.
Stop picks up his dribble. Every time Oklahoma has tried to go on a run, Georgia Tech has had the answer. Terry getting downhill, and Powell again on the offensive glass. How good has he been this first half?
He's made a lot of good plays, getting his hands on a lot of offensive rebounds. He's been finishing in the paint. He's going to make it tough for Coach Stoudemire to take him off the floor.
7 rebounds for Duncan Powell, the transfer from Sacramento State.
He's accepted that role with his team. He knows he's going to catch it on those short rolls. And with the penetration that these guards are getting, guards are forced to box him out, and that's just a mismatch for him.
2 minutes to play here in this first half. Bustaf with the scoop. Powell, his 8th rebound. He says, you know what? Let me dribble it out. Did not hit the rim, so he had to get it up.
Coach Moses can't be happy with his team rebounding right now. And that's what they usually do to opponents, is get on the offensive glass.
Elvis somehow keeps it alive from the seat of his pants, gets rid of it, and Goodine will get a trip to the free throw line.
Great job there, getting on the floor, staying on the floor by Elvis. Rewarding a teammate with a great hustle. Nearly a turnover, but Sooners get 2 instead.
The second annual SEC ACC Challenge continues Thursday night with this women's basketball doubleheader on ESPN. 4th-ranked Texas takes on 10th-ranked Notre Dame, followed by number 8 Duke and number 3 South Carolina. Anytime you got South Carolina women on the court, I will be tuning in to
and you
watch.
Gotta watch Notre Dame, because Hannah Hidalgo is a walking bucket. She's improved her numbers, scoring up a point. Every number's up. She's 3-point percentage is up. Only thing's down is her 2 assists down from a year ago, but she is fun to watch for the Fighting Irish.
Final minute in this first half, Oklahoma down by 4. More thought about it now, kicks it out to Elvis. Everything has been on the perimeter for Oklahoma this first half.
Got to watch Elvis going left with the step back.
Moore had his shot blocked, gets it back. 3 on the shot clock, down to 2, blocked again. And he did not get it off. Shot clock violation. How about the D, but on Muchekwa?
The freshman is stepping up and accepting the challenge. Guarding Moore off the bounce there. 2 blocks in 1 possession. Great job there with the freshman. He's been involved in a lot of ball screen actions. I asked Coach Stoudemire about that. Are you worried about the freshman in actions? He says he's got to be ready. He says, I'm going with him. He said, I'm going to play through his mistakes. He said, every year I'll pick a guy. He said, last year was Nate George. I'm just going to let him play. I'm going to let him play and learn through his mistakes. This season is on Muchekwa.
All right, just over a second difference between shot and game clock. What do you want to see out of Georgia Tech this last possession?
I think you got to go early enough to give yourself a chance to get an offensive rebound. I think around the 8-second mark, you'll see a run-up ball screen here.
There it is, 8 on the shot clock. Terry off his foot, turnover.
Terry's upset with that. Nothing makes the coach madder than drawing up a play. If you watch Coach Stoudemire, they're drawing up a play, and then you don't even get a chance to get your shot off. But
all right, if you're Oklahoma, you have 8 seconds now to work with.
Plenty of time. And you don't have to settle. Here.
Jeremiah Fears back on the floor. They will inbound to him. 6 seconds to go. He's got to hurry. 5 seconds. 4, 3. Takes on 2 defenders. Tipped out. And that's how the first half will end. It's Georgia Tech with a 4-point lead going into the locker room at the half.
It's a great half by the Georgia Tech. It's led every minute of this game. They've dominated the point, the post. They've gotten the ball in the paint off the dribblers. Really dominating the offensive glass as well. Playing this game at their pace. They want to control the defensive glass.
How often do we feature a rebounder coming out into the second half? That tells you what the story was in that first half.
You said as soon as we started, there was just a difference in the physicality from Georgia Tech when this game started. And Oklahoma was a little slow, but it was a credit to Georgia Tech. They're playing this game at the style of play they want to play it at. They're not letting Oklahoma get into this fast-paced, up-tempo style. They've been able to control the glass and get stops.
It'll be the Yellow Jackets starting with the ball here in the second half. Terry hits the deck off the mark, and Oklahoma ball.
And that possession you saw there, that's what's happening. The tempo of this game is Tech's getting to the rim at will. The guards throw it up. Now they're switching. You got to box out Dongo. You got to box out Powell. And the front line of Georgia Tech has been winning that battle, getting their hands on a lot of balls, even though the last possession they didn't come up with.
How does Porter Moser get this guy going? 0 for 4 from the floor, just 2 points for Jeremiah Fears.
I would draw a play up for him just like this and get him going. I wouldn't care what the results were, but just get him going. You pick up 2 fouls and you sit. The tendency is to be passive. You want him in attack mode, to be aggressive. He's trusted him and putting him back in the game a couple of times. Miles have had his moments. Elvis has played well. They just need Fears to kind of get going.
Fears played just 7 minutes in that first half with 2 fouls. That one swatted by Onwuchekwa. 8 seconds on the shot clock for the Sooners to work with.
Onwuchekwa's had his moments. A couple of block shots. His third block shot coming over. Great job of timing. He waits until Fear leaves his feet, then he elevates next.
Fears will get it back off the inbounds. Shot clock's at 4. Gives it up. Elvis straight away. Terry using that screen, but not finishing is Dongo, missing the lay-in.
Dongo won't get an easier basket than that. That shot on Fears right there, no hesitation. Should have shot the first one. Had a 3 in rhythm. Tried to get closer and shot the mid-range, and just play. He should just play. Stop worrying about getting to the rim. Just let the offense come to him. Just stay aggressive. This is Georgia Tech basketball here. That middle ball screen there. You rotate over, they spray it to the corner for 3.
Off the miss, Oklahoma looking to push. Miles off the mark, and Dongo with a rebound.
It's a good shot. That's the type of shot that they want. 3 in transition, pushing tempo. You got to live with those shots early and anticipate you're going to make some here as the half gets going.
That pass deflected and a steal by the Sooners. With numbers, Sears losing the handle, still puts it in.
He's athletic enough to put his head on the rim and dunk that. When you don't play a lot of minutes, though, he probably doesn't feel loose.
As much as Georgia Tech has controlled the pace of this game, it's just a 2-point lead, and Oklahoma now with the ball. Dangerous pass. Fears with some space in the lane. Kick out. Moore. And Fears on the rebound. He'll be fouled.
Pace is starting to pick up there. Great deflection by Fears. He's rewarded with the layup in transition. That's how you get yourself going. When you're struggling, you make a play on the defensive end. Comes down here, gets an offensive rebound, draws the foul. Struggling with your shot, it shouldn't affect your effort. It's a great sign for Jeremiah Fears.
Well, you notice something different. He lost the headband. Sometimes you need to change a little something up to get yourself going, right?
About a little superstitious, I see. Like, hey, the headband got me in foul trouble early. Like, let me switch my focus. Strap up a little bit, defend, create some opportunities.
Here we go, Randolph. Let's see, we got a shot of it. No headband now. A different look for Jeremiah Fears. And we are all tied at 34. Oklahoma has never led in this game.
And Georgia Tech has had good looks this half. They've just missed them. Like,
Terry, mid-range jumper, short. Rebound goes to Fears. Oh, and they collide. Good thing they both pop up off the deck.
yeah, those guys came face to face on that one, and luckily both guys are okay. So Terry had the first shot, trying to chase that one down. Yeah, those guys hit head to head there. I thought Terry had the first pass on the catch. He had the three. Didn't take it. Sometimes you won't get a better shot. Sometimes that shot could come at 26 seconds in the shot clock. And he had one early there, didn't take it, and ended up taking a tough mid-range shot.
Fears in and out dribble. Look at that speed getting to the paint. They find the open Miles in the corner, and Oklahoma their first lead of the night.
Fears didn't get the assist. He got the hockey assist, but his penetration forces rotation, allows the corner three.
George trying to turn the corner. Instead, he settles for a deep one, and Parroll has it tipped away. This is when Oklahoma is dangerous in transition, and Georgia Tech wants a timeout. A 9-0 run for the Sooners.
The Sooners have woken up. Fears on the penetration. Elvis one more into the corner for Moore for three. And Moore puts his stamps on the game, running in transition, putting the Sooners up 5.
Goes to cancer research, and I think that is the important part. Everyone knowing where your money goes, and it goes for the research.
It matters. We know cancer is an ugly illness, and please support it. It matters. It saves lives.
I appreciate you sharing your story, brother, being strong and helping others who are maybe going in a similar situation. A 5-point lead for Oklahoma. Let's see what Georgia Tech does to respond after the timeout on the floor. Yellow Jackets taking their time, 4 on the shot clock. Onwuchekwa, his 3 off the mark. Powell, offensive rebound. His putback misses, but he's fouled.
Great job by Powell going to the glass. Continue to fight for his team. Trying to put the Yellow Jackets back in the game. You got your hands full.
3 threes on the night for Kobe Elvis. In his last 2 games, he was 0 for 6.
And it was great because it was in the moment where Georgia Tech was in total control of this game. His 3 threes kept them close until now. They're starting to figure things out, starting to push the pace. They're starting to get stops. The momentum of this game is swung completely in their favor. This is a dangerous moment for the Yellow Jackets. The last possession wasn't a good possession offensively. With that lineup that was out there, they were struggling for offense. The coach comes out of his timeout, immediately puts Bidongo back in this game.
Something Coach Stoudemire kept preaching in his shoot-around today was trying to make sure you don't allow Oklahoma to get out and run. And that's what we've seen of these last few possessions, the Sooners getting transition points.
Started with a couple of deflections, getting out in transition. And Moore knows athletically he can run the floor. They want to outrun the 4s and the 5s of the Yellow Jackets.
So Duncan Powell to the free throw line as he makes the first. Got that interesting haircut.
I love it.
Maybe that's something you got to ask your barber next time you roll through.
I don't know if I'm going to grow enough in the back to grow it, but I'm going to try.
He's from Dallas, Texas, and apparently the area where he's from, that's a popular style, so I dig it. Rock it.
Hey, you look good at it and you can do it. Not everybody can pull that off.
Especially when you can back it up with your game on the floor.
When you come out and play like this, you wear your hair however you want.
Dongo with both hands on the body. We're called for the reach in.
Bad foul by Dongo, that far from the basket. You often tell your young players in general, it's not the fourth and fifth foul to get you in trouble. You got to respect your fouls, and that's just a bad foul to get early there. So early in the shot clock, the ball is so far away from the basket. No need to put two hands on Godwin and pick up the foul.
Dongo again, right on Godwin. Elvis gets by his man, extra pass and deflected by Terry as Georgia Tech was in scramble mode.
You could tell they were challenged it coming out of time out there by Stoudemire. They're really aggressive, applying more ball pressure. Great move by Ellis to create space and get down the lane and force rotation.
Fears, mid-range jump bar foul, plus the bucket.
That's the NBA and Coach Stoudemire. When you see that guy sitting in the backcourt that far, they throw it back, take speed. And as I just said with Dongo, now he's got to come out for fouls. And had he protected his foul the previous possession, he wouldn't have to come out right now.
So 4 fouls on Dongo now.
And now he's got to sit for the majority of this half, and it wasn't that foul that was as bad as egregious as the one before that. You just part of the learning curve that he talked about for Dongo, and Nate George. These sophomores got to take for Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to reach their potential.
Georgia Tech, their last field goal came at the 4-minute mark of the first half. And they continue their cold shooting from the floor. Fears, full head of steam. You talked about it early on. With his size at 6'4" and the speed he possesses, he is hard to get in front of.
He's the key to their transition offense. You know, he's a one-man fast break. The other guys just got to give him the ball because it's going to take 2 guys to guard him and corral him in space. You're not going to guard him one-on-one. So you got to corral him. The bigs run, the wings run. That's why this team is so deadly in transition offense. Just not a lot of guys you're going to play against that has his top-end speed. Trying to get him going here. And this is what we talked about now. Northweather's in the game, and he forces you to switch.
Fears, step back. And another rebound pulled down by Powell. A new season high. He's got 10 rebounds. He's asking for a touch on the block. Here comes the double. Mustaf left alone. His floater no good.
That's a possession there with Georgia Tech. He knows, Powell knows the double team is coming. Great job by Mustaf there, diving to an opening, but unable to finish the float.
Currently, it's a 12-2 run by Oklahoma, giving them this 6-point lead. Fears had that ball batted. Turnaround, Moore off the mark, and a good box out by Mustaf. Gets downhill, takes the bump, and we'll get a trip to the free throw line.
Great job, great patience there by Mustaf. He knew Fears was on the ground behind him, that they had numbers. If anything, Coach Stoudemire is saying, you got to give me an and one, young fella. Take the contact, got to the rim, unable to get the and one, but he drew the foul.
Mustaf, an 88% free throw shooter on this young season. And he makes the first.
Great to see this young man kind of round in shape here. Things are starting to slow down for him. Lost his father, Gerard Mustaf, a week before the season. Former Maryland Terp, former first-round NBA draft pick, passed away on his 55th birthday. It's a shocking loss for everyone. And just see how he's responded and been able to regroup and start to figure some things out on the basketball court. But great to see him, the way he's handled himself.
It's got to be so tough for a young man. When we talk to Coach Stoudemire about it, obviously stepped away from the game to handle that, and now since he's come back, he is fully focused, fully committed, and the team fully supporting him.
And you see the impact he has on this team, you know. Big guard, big wing, plays some backup point, relentless attacking the rim, really physical.
Elvis will create the contact. He gets the foul on Mustaf.
Playing a lot of minutes. They're leaning on him heavy with the injury in the backcourt. Two starters. And apart from being away from the team, he also injured his hand and missed 2 games this year. The last 2 games, again, averaging over 17 points a game, starting to round into shape here. Good sign for the Yellow Jackets.
Goodine on the deck, but nails the 3.
Got to know where he is coming off screens. Now with Dongo out, Nate George has got to take a step here and push the envelope a little bit, be a little bit more aggressive.
Almost 12 minutes since Georgia Tech has nailed a field goal. Terry asking for it back, instead throwing it down is Duncan Powell.
Taking advantage of the size he had on the Miles there, reaching up and grabbing.
After review, the basket is good.
Here's what I love. Now in the SEC this season, at every SEC arena, officials will go to the table and make an announcement after certain calls and key pivotal situations to make sure everyone at home watching and everyone here in the arena knows what's going on.
They do, and they do a great job of communicating that with the fans and with us. I just think at times I would like for someone to be at the table that can help them at times expedite it, because you can watch some team to try to take advantage of a late game, no timeouts, use a situation like that. Officials do a really good job of doing it. I wish we just had someone that can help them make a quicker decision to keep the game flowing, and particularly late game situations, because coaches can use that for strategy to draw up some last second shots that matter.
A 6-point lead for Oklahoma. We played almost 8 minutes here in the second half. Goodine knocks down another one. His third 3 of the night.
Yeah, we're at a critical moment right now for the Yellow Jackets. Where's their scoring going to come from now?
Oklahoma up 9, their largest lead of the night.
Everything is on the perimeter going east and west. They're no longer getting to the paint as they were dominating in the first half.
Powell showing the strength again, protecting the ball, and gets to the rim.
He's been their best player here today. I mean, just consistently both ends. He's rebounding the basketball, been able to deliver points in the paint, either driving it or posting up.
He's got himself a double-double, 10 boards, 10 rebounds. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and the 3 by Kobe Ellis.
Sooners are heating up behind the three-point line. Ellis knocking down his 4th three.
Fear staying in front of Mustaf. They go back to Powell.
And the double team's coming.
Finds the cutter, and O'Brien gets the clear out.
Ellis loves this step back going left. You got to know that on the scouting report, but he creates so much separation when he does it. I don't know how you're going to stop him from getting it off. And he's knocked down 4 threes here so far tonight.
Georgia Tech playing close attention now to the three-point line. Good eye and a step back. Little heat check as Fears tracks down the rebound. In traffic, out of control, lost it.
He had Elvis early. Got caught in the air making a last-minute decision on that one. And turnover he'd like to have back.
We focused on Powell as a rebounder, but now the offense has been moving through him. Cutting. Terry! Oh, my! Da-da-da, da-da-da. You go see that one tonight on SportsCenter.
I don't know who was more excited about that, you or me. I thought you ripped your jacket on, grabbing you. Wow.
This place is buzzing after that Terry slam. Fears. And a late whistle. Okay, can we roll it back and see that slam by Lance Terry?
And he has this in his game, and he catches this. And Luke Northweather is the beneficiary of a new poster and on SportsCenter tonight. Wow.
That is 6'3" versus 6'11". And the smaller dude making it look easy.
Wow. I guess that's what you do when you're struggling from the field. You want a basket, hey, let's back door and find Terry. Let him punch on someone.
Now on the other end, Fears got that whistle. So he will get to the free throw line, where he is a perfect 5 for 5 tonight.
Great job by the officials, giving him time to get himself together.
The second annual SEC ACC Challenge continues Thursday night. Here's our men's and women's lineup for the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Fears now with 9 points in his second half as he will check out.
Getting to the free throw line is a big part of his game as well. So he drives it, just fearless driving to the basket, puts a lot of contact on the defense and forces the officials to blow the whistle.
Terry missing that three. O'Brien couldn't keep it alive. Elvis, the no look. And a foul called as Godwin tried to yam it on him.
Both teams do a good job moving the basketball. This middle ball screen, pocket pass there. We talked about that middle ball screen, so difficult to guard. That pocket pass on him big, he's rolling. Godwin has a chance to get to the foul line and finish off the possession.
What an amazing story he has. A guy who's started his career with 2 years at Wofford, put his name in the transfer portal, contacted Coach Moser and said, hey, if you'll have me, I'll walk on here.
Walk on.
I will walk on.
Unbelievable.
Walked on, got a scholarship the following year, and now one of 2 returning starters to this Oklahoma lineup this season.
And one of the best offensive rebounders you're going to find in the country. Just nonstop motor. just relentless in his attack to the basket.
Powell finding O'Brien underneath and has it taken away. 10-point lead for Oklahoma.
This is how Oklahoma want to play. Create turnovers when they dig.
Miles using every bit of that pivot.
That is an Oklahoma Sooner basketball. They're undersized. They know the double team's coming. The guards are digging and slapping for the ball, creating turnovers and getting out in transition.
Timeout, Georgia Tech, as Coach Stoudemire sensing his team needs to get this one back, as Oklahoma has all the momentum right now.
Sooners were slow to start. They have picked it up now. Ellis with the run, Miles with the runner. Sooners picking the pace up.
Their sleep and actually make sure that they are fully rested to go to class and practice and play.
It's critical when you travel this much. That's just the landscape of college basketball. You're talking about a tech program that's going to have to go to California. I mean, it's just where we are in Power 5 basketball.
And the exciting part now is that if you're a donor in Oklahoma, there's some new venues you get to go to as the teardrop falls for George, plus the foul.
I'm sure some of the donors will be bringing their golf clubs and some of those trips to Florida. This is what Nate George needs to do a lot more of. He's really a pass-first, unselfish point guard. Great vision, but he's got to develop being more consistent of a scorer. Teams are actually scheming him, forcing him to score. And I think at times he gets in trouble because he's just not ready. He's looking to pass, and they're trying to take that away. That time he turned the corner, no one stopped him. He was able to get downhill and get the and one.
One of the games we hear that Oklahoma donors have circled on the schedule when they travel to play at Alabama, as they hope to look at the football facilities and check out all the history and the tradition there. And an offensive foul, a legal screen as Terry hits the deck.
They're bound to call that a bunch on Oklahoma. They run so many ball screens, so many dribble handoffs, and Godwin did a pretty good job of trying to stay still on the screen. I thought he did a pretty good job there. They call it popping their feet on the floor. Veteran guy, so much experience, loves to play with contact. You're a guard. Godwin loves to try to get physical with the guard and get you open.
Terry loses his defender, and that one is tipped out of bounds. 18 seconds on the shot clock for Georgia Tech.
Play on the zoom action there, just fake the dribble handoff, toss back, keeps it.
Terry, catch and shoot, nails the three. That is his third three of the night, and he's got 14.
First time he's been aggressive, wasn't hesitant, came off the screen, looking to score. See him running off the screener action there, and no hesitation at that point. Slips out of that screen, comes off Dongo's screen, and knocks down a three. No hesitation there. Big shot for a Georgia Tech team that's been struggling, and he's got to get aggressive. They've got Dongo back in the game. He's been impactful early in the game. He got in foul trouble, and since he's been in the game, now there's starting to be opportunities because Oklahoma Sooners, they don't want to switch a guard on Dongo. So he gets back in the game, and now you're forced to lock and trail. And Terry and some of these other perimeter guys will be able to turn the corner just by his presence being on the floor.
Dongo picked up 2 quick fouls to start the second half and has spent much of the second half on the bench. He comes back on the floor with 4 fouls.
And the last 2 possessions, again, because they don't want to switch, the guards have been able to get opportunities that they will not get without him being there. And now you got he and Powell on the front line. See if they can make a run and get back in this one.
That was Powell calling out the screen for Terry so he didn't get slammed with another screen.
Now on the other end, Northweather's in the game, and he dictates coverage because he's such a good shooter.
Fears
Wow.
sheds his defender and nails the mid-range.
Wow.
Hello.
It's a nice move there. Creating space off the bounce, getting to the mid-range.
And he didn't push off.
No.
Dongo resets with George at the top.
They like the middle ball screen without that. They got their mismatch. Northweather out top. You got to beat him off the bounce.
He beats him to the rim and gets the roll.
That's what happens with Dongo there. They switch that time, and George decides to get aggressive.
It is back to a 6-point lead for Oklahoma. 6.5 to play in the second half. Rising up, and it's pinned by Dongo. Oh, they called the foul. He can't believe it, because if it's on him, that'll be it, his fifth.
That's a big foul call there.
Wait, let's see this again. It looked like he might have pinned it.
Helps coming late. He goes up and challenges, and that's a good block.
Wait, but if you look at his right hand from behind, riding him, I thought the other angle might have showed the trail hand.
That's a tough fifth foul there. But again, we talked about the third one. He's out of the game now. That third foul, 40 feet from the basket, he commits that foul, and then he immediately picks the fourth, and he's out. And then you gotta protect your fouls when you're this important to your team. And he's not a guy that just has fouls to give. He has to protect them.
As Moore makes the first free throw. Here's this weekend's ABC College Football Conference Championship lineup. We start Friday night in the American at 8 Eastern with Tulane taking on 24th ranked Army. Then Saturday, got 16th ranked Iowa State squaring off against 15th ranked Arizona State in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 title game. Then Georgia and Texas, number 5 versus number 2 in the SEC. And we finish it off with Clemson and SMU for the ACC title game. George. Mustaf, a lot of contact, and he gets the whistle, and a technical foul is called on the Georgia Tech bench. As there was a lot of hand fighting on that possession, and the bench was begging for a foul.
Yeah, he's upset. Bench, no Stoudemire won't be really happy with that. He's calling a technical foul on the end of the bench. And from looking at it, I think it's just the bench that they're standing up. Usually when the officials are there, they're telling you to sit down. And he called a technical there on Bonzi Wells, but Bonzi Wells is standing up on the baseline. You often notice on officials on the bench, they're often telling you to sit down. And Bonzi standing there. I don't even know if he was talking to the official or not, but just by standing, I'm sure the officials have warned him several times to sit down, and when you don't, you leave them no choice but to tee you up.
So 1 of 2 for Fears off the tech.
First free throw he's missed, 7 of 8 tonight. Hasn't been his night from the field, but he still has a huge impact on this game, which is get to the free throw line.
Bonzi Wells still trying to ask what he did to get that tech.
Yeah, I mean, the ref gives him thumbs up, but a lot of it is just if you're standing up. I mean, they want you to sit down and sit on the bench, and Bonzi was up talking. And I'm pretty sure they got some choice words after the 5th foul by Dongo. They didn't like that call. Fouling out their preseason second team all-conference big, and had such a huge impact on this game. And we watching the next 6 minutes from the bench.
So much time still left in this one. 6 minutes to go in this second half.
See, the impact is not just on the defensive end. Mike Dongo was dictating defensive coverage when he was there. When they switched the guard on him, he post up. He got rewarded with it early. He allowed the guards to go one-on-one and drive it to the rim when the big was switched on to him. Now that option is no longer there. So now where do you go? They got to go. Powell's had the hot hand, or Nate George has got to pick it up. Let's see if they can find Terry on the weak side.
Mustaf probing and finding that little bit of space he needs to get 2 more.
This young man is starting to figure things out. He knows his game. Really good defender. He's a power wing, gets downhill, shoots floaters and runners.
Taylor Jr. with the crossover. And 2 seconds on the shot clock for Oklahoma to work with coming out of bounds.
This is in front of Oklahoma State bench, so the Oklahoma bench, so they get the call. Putting the shooter in the game now. It's a mix-up. Someone has to walk off the court.
Size coming on the floor for Georgia Tech as Ibrahim Soiree at 6'9" checks in.
Watch the lob by Moore here.
Soiree guarding the ball. 2 seconds. Goodine does get it up, and the follow slam by Jalen Moore.
I said watch Moore. I didn't know it'd be the follow-up dunk. I thought it'd be the lob. But you got to put a body on him, on a human pogo stick.
Powell, a deep 3. Can't get that one to fall, and Moore fouled on the rebound. He is doing it at both ends of the floor.
Yes, he is. Tries to wedge his defender in, and no box out, and he hammers it home. His quick jump, you gotta get a body on him. You know, if anybody wants to play well, the former Yellow Jacket wanted to play well this game. He's really elevated his game, shooting it well, playing at a really high level.
Oklahoma in the double bonus the rest of the way.
Coach Moses says he's the heartbeat. Moore's the heartbeat of this team. I mean, we talk so much about fears and their guard play. He says none of this is possible without the leadership of this young man.
So Glenn Taylor Jr. checks back in as Coach Moser continues to substitute offense for defense. George pick and roll, but his big man was down on the floor.
Ovichekwu slipped on that. Yellow Jackets always looking for that short roll after that middle ball screen. And that's what I talked about George, looking to pass every time. And
Elvis short. And guess who on the rebound? Mr. Powell with his 12th board of the night. Ovichekwu. And a foul called on Elvis as he undercut Mustaf going up for the board.
Just being honest, the ACC has struggled. Some teams have struggled in November. And long way to go, a lot of basketball to be played. But this challenge presented a big opportunity for the ACC to close that gap. And first night hadn't gone so well for the ACC, but it has gone great for the SEC.
Last year, all the talk was about the Big 12.
Yes.
And how good the Big 12 is.
Yes.
This year, SEC, is that the best conference in college basketball now?
I don't think you can refute that right now. It is the first month without question. And then obviously the expectations coming in.
So Texas A&M just won. So that makes it 6-0 SEC on top. Powell on the block, and he will be fouled. It is hard to get around his shoulders when he has you in a good position.
He's just showing you. We can imagine what this team is going to look like. Just remember, this team is missing 2 starters. And we were preparing that Javion McCollum was going to be in this game, who's a former Oklahoma Sooner. And you add him into this lineup now, and Powell's going to get extended minutes. Dong is going to stay on the floor, better foul trouble. This Georgia Tech team is going to be a lot better next month when they have all their pieces.
First double-double of the season for Duncan Powell. 11 points, 12 rebounds. He has certainly earned himself more playing time as this season goes on.
Oh, he has, and he's showing us what he can do on the offensive end of the floor.
That one is stripped away, and a foul on the floor, they said, before going up. And it's going to be a 1-and-1 for Dorian Onwuchekwu at the line.
Sam Godwin gave up the rebound there. I was like, I'm not going to let you get a free dunk here. You're going to have to earn this one from the stripe.
Onwuchekwu. Rattles in the first free throw. It was funny when we talked to Coach Stoudemire about Onwuchekwu. He said, and you can say this on air, he said, sometimes I have to put my foot up his butt.
Yes.
And he said, you know what? We have that kind of relationship where I can coach him hard. And to his credit, Onwuchekwu always responds. As a freshman, he continues to get better. He gets his own miss there. Another opportunity for Georgia Tech.
He's a skilled big when you watch him. Nice touch on the shot. Ability to block shots, move his feet well. Bright future.
Shot clock winding down, and a foul called on Godwin with 1 second on the shot clock.
We thought his sophomore class was good, and it actually is. But this freshman class is really giving you something to be excited about for the folks in Midtown Atlanta.
And you think about it, after that football game, that epic overtime battle against Georgia. Now you've got the basketball team, maybe a resurgence under Damon Stoudemire as the head coach.
Brad, the AD was just extended today. I saw that pop up on our screen earlier, and a lot to be excited about in Midtown. Not just about your Atlanta Hawks, but your Georgia Tech men's basketball and your football programs.
For Oklahoma, Godwin will check out with 4 fouls as Northweather comes back in.
Now let's see if the coverage changed now with Northweather. Because before, because of his ability to stretch the defense and then shoot threes, they've been switching.
Under 3 minutes to play, Oklahoma up 7. Here's Northweather. That's what he adds to the floor. A big man at 6'11" who can shoot from deep.
We just talked about it. That's what he does. He spaces the floor. He opens up the paint, allows Spears to get in there. And as a big, you're just not accustomed to defending out there.
Terry lost it going up. And here comes Moore in transition. He'll be fouled by George.
We just talked about the impact that Northweather has on his game. Spears penetrates. Northweather behind three-corner pocket. When he's in the game, he sets ball screens. You got to switch. When he spaces his bigs, you're accustomed. You want to rotate to protect the rim, but you can't with him. He's unlike Moore and unlike Godwin, where you get to sag off with him. You got to stay attached. You don't, he hurts you.
That was ruled a 2 from Northweather.
I thought Terry was about to have another poster down there. He lost it on the way up. I started getting excited again, and then he lost it. He was chopping his steps.
Second annual SEC ACC Challenge continues tomorrow night on ESPN with this must-see men's basketball doubleheader. Number 20 North Carolina hosts number 10 Alabama. That goes down in Chapel Hill. Then followed by 9th-ranked Duke hosting 2nd-ranked Auburn. Oklahoma a season high 23 free throws made tonight. Contested 3 off the mark. Lance Terry missing everything.
Now they're starting to force things a little bit. You take shots like that, ball doesn't change sides to the floor. They feel things slipping away. Terry's trying to put the team on his back.
Fears gets all the way to the rim. Largest lead of the game for Oklahoma. Gustav creating space with a steal by Duke Miles. Raked from behind. And Oklahoma trying to close this one out with under 2 minutes to play.
Gustav got caught in the air there, elevated, no intentions of shooting it. Hopefully one of his teammates was there to bail him out, and he turned it over. Was able to run him down and at least commit the foul without it being a breakaway foul. So something the young guy got to learn from. I think a little bit of fatigue is setting in too. He's missed so much time. Playing a lot of minutes with the injuries of this team right now, and it's going to benefit him. Yellow Jackets go forward, but credit to OU team. They've completely flipped this thing in the second half. Getting defensive stops, able to get out in transition like that.
And head coach Porter Moser was very concerned about this game. Talked about that quick turnaround. Down by 4 at the half, but Oklahoma has flipped the switch here in the second.
Get 3 games consecutively like that in the tournament, and you come home and play a big game like this. He's got to be proud of how his team responded.
How good is this Oklahoma team on the cusp now of moving to 8-0 on the season?
I think they're really good because they defend. This is against a Georgia Tech team that we both acknowledged that we thought were more physical from the start. But they're able to show their resilience. They shoot the ball really well. They got so many different pieces and different pieces. Like Northweather comes in with his ability to stretch the defense. They have depth at guard. Moore is so critical of what he brings to the team and his athleticism, his ability to rim run and switch defensively. And if they stay healthy, I don't see why you would think they would fall out of the rankings all year long. I mean, this team is really good defensively. They are limited in size, but they make up for it with their guard play. Fears was ineffective most of the game because of foul trouble. Still found a way to contribute. He's already at 16 points, and it didn't look like he played a great game tonight. And that's a sign of a good team when you find a way to impact the game when you're not at your best.
There's Jalen Moore checking out for Oklahoma. You know he wanted this one.
Yes.
The Georgia Tech transfer.
Yes. Now look at the defensive effort. You know, 27 points in the second half.
Coming into the night, Oklahoma was one of 17 teams left undefeated in college basketball. 5 of them from the SEC. Some teams on that list: Columbia, UC Irvine, DePaul, Utah State. Drake still undefeated coming into the night.
Drake, Champions Classic champion, and Charleston Classic champion. And
it is time now for tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Continental Tire. And we just talked about him, Jalen Moore. What a performance for Oklahoma, bringing them back. 15 points, 9 of 10 from the free throw line.
just continuing his high level of play, coming off the MVP of the battle for Atlantis, and comes home on a short rest. It's another double-double.
How about Fears? He had 2 points in that first half. 16 points in this second with 18 now.
10 of 11 from the free throw line for Fears. And on nights you don't have your best stuff, you get to the free throw line and you make your free throws, and he's done that tonight.
The crowd here at Lloyd Noble Center rising to their feet. Oklahoma with a come from behind, down by 4 at the half. They get the win, 76-61, with Jalen Moore leading the way. He was impressive for Oklahoma.
Just a great performance. I think this team is just well balanced. They're proving that winning in the battle for Atlantis is not a fluke. And they started out a little sluggish, but came back second half and dominated this game.
First time in program history that Oklahoma starts back-to-back seasons at a perfect 8-0. How far